So the qualifying offer, that's under consideration for all those players. And, the club has to decide that, I think, by the end of the World Series. So we're currently working on that.
And what about the timing of the free agent market? It seems like every season we can look back and one team benefited by being very early in the process and a so-called quick strike, and another team benefited by waiting and having flexibility and getting a key player late. Do you have any sense of how it'll go this year and how it needs to go, particularly for the Orioles?
Well, I mean, I hope it goes like we sign good players and they do a good job for us next year. But, we'll have to wait and see. The market develops pretty quickly, and I think it's going to develop pretty quickly this year.
Dan, Adam Jones has been vocal and wanting to have a voice, so to speak, in the offseason. Are you at least intrigued to hear what Adam has to say?
Well, Adam has a unique perspective, but he's earned the right to express himself, and it tells me that he's interested in having a winning team here year in and year out, which is the same interest we have, and we appreciate Adam's input. He certainly has a forum to give us his input. I'm not sure he's aware of all the business considerations we have to take into account with some of these decisions we have to make, but I'm very encouraged that he's interested, because that means he wants the same thing that we want, and that's to have a good team next year.
I've already heard him. I mean, I hear him all the time from him. It's fun.
Both of you to tug at Oriole history a little bit. And in the old days that maybe Jim Henneman and I can remember pretty well, the Orioles didn't always sign the biggest name pitcher or trade for the biggest name pitcher. They picked up Mike Cuellar and Pat Dobson, who weren't like David Price and Johnny Cueto now.
They ain't available. Those guys ain't available. We'd sign them. We'd take them.
Do you have guys like that in mind as you go into the offseason, Dan?
We've been working on a trade target. We've been working on a free agent target list. We've been working on a minor league free agent list, a 20B list, an international scouting free agent list. So we're prepared. We're ready to go. And I think we have a pretty good shopping list. I think we know where the weaknesses are in our current ball club and what we need to strengthen for the coming season. And so we'll try to systematically fill each of those holes as we get ready to go into the season.
Yeah, they kind of build off a little bit of what Steve said, but if you talk to free agents, they'll often tell you that once they're available to everyone in the market, maybe philosophy changes. They start hearing what the money is. They start being courted by other teams. Other players start calling them. That kind of. Obviously, you're going to have a window here until they can discuss with other teams. How important is it to you to make quick strikes now with all 6 of those guys? And also, do you anticipate giving offers to all 6 of those free agents before they go out on the market?
Well, we have some ideas on how we're going to approach the offseason. Some of the agents represent players that they automatically take to the free agent market. There's a couple of agencies that get hired by players for this purpose, so that the player can become a free agent, and they'll take them to the market, and they'll get a lucrative contract, which they've earned the right to do. So when you're in this position, a lot of times the agents won't entertain an offer. But we have the capability to speak to these players before the other clubs get to them, and we've considered that, and that's something that we're currently considering.
But 500 record, I'm sure that's well below what you expected, but that maybe throughout the course of the season, players who weren't on your radar within the organization earned their way onto your radar based on what they did this year.
Oh, who would they be?
I'm saying,
Yeah. Not as many as we hoped. As we got down the last 2 or 3 weeks, I would have liked to played some of our younger people more, but the schedule didn't cooperate with who we were playing, and we had to, just from an integrity competitive wise, put our best foot forward every night, even though we had, Jonesy out and Jonathan out some. We had, but I would have liked to have seen a Darryl Alvarez more, but I think we got to see him in this environment. We got to see him, because of his age, it's not that he's old or anything, but we're going to kind of know what we have or don't have very quickly. So, having him on the roster, I think he's going to have a big spring, Junior Lake, different guys that we wanted to get Steve Clevenger kind of in the mix some. So the rest of them, we don't have to protect, and there's some things you don't want to bring them into the roster too quickly, but there's some good things happening. I snuck off to a few minor league cities during an off day or here or there, and I can see what Dan and them are talking about. I know Dan spent a lot of time down there. So the big thing that we've got to get going is, the pitching part of it. Mike Wright did some really good things in Norfolk and Tyler, and, a guy like Davies was good enough that we were able to acquire, a sought-after guy in Para who came on real strong at the end of the year, ended up hitting 290 on the year almost as a group. So, most of our guys, I could sit here and talk about 30 guys that I'm got a close eye on down the minor leagues, but, we'll see. I think like Dan said, we're a lot better off there than, people may think, and I'm looking forward to the spring, seeing them more. I'm going to head down to Instructional League when I get through with my mom, and maybe head out the Fall League. We got a good group going out there, too.
Did either of you get news on Scope's MRA today?
He came by here and dropped it off with Richie, and I haven't checked anything.
The swelling's down, and we got a good report. I thought it was important that we finish 500, and I know Buck shares this, because now you've got another winning season, you've got something to build on. You finished in third place, and we ended up sweeping the Yankees and the Nats. And to me, it's very important, if you're going to be a first division organization, that you finish in the first division every year. And to me, 500 is the low water mark. I mean, we ought to be able to do 500 every year. And I'm really glad that we finished that way.
That was today, right? I don't think we've heard anything.
Hunter Harvey got a good report from Dr. Andrews. Dr. Andrews felt that there was good improvement, and he recommended that he rest for 4 to 6 weeks and then resume a throwing program.
Apropos to that question, Dylan Bundy, as I understand it, his contract would call for him to be in the major leagues this coming season. Is there a legitimate way that you see that happening based on his performance?
Well, he hasn't pitched it competitively in a while, but he certainly has the talent. I mean, if he's healthy, that would be a consideration we could look at in the spring.
I'm encouraged by what I hear down there with the throwing that he's had, so wouldn't deny him that possibility. We'll see what happens.
Dan, back to Harvey real quick. You said that he's going to 4 to 6 weeks and resume throwing. Obviously, he has a situation where it's been reoccurring. If there is another setback, it would be a year or so of surgery. Is there any thought to doing the surgery now, losing that year, and then beginning in when he's 22 years old, or do you really feel that, from what you've been told, that you need to try and rest this and continue this to go on? Because he's already lost a year or so of development.
Well, not really. I mean, he was active this year, and the doctors are recommending, based upon the healing they've seen, they're recommending that he continue to pitch. If he does throw 4 to 6 weeks from now and he still has an issue, we can always look at the surgery then. But we've sent him to see several doctors, and they're all recommending to continue to throw.
Quick one on health. Notice that Chaz Rowe didn't pitch for the last 10 days of the season. Is there an issue with him?
There were 2 days where he had a little flexor down in his forearm that Dom and Dave made me aware of, that that bit him a little bit as they do their routine every day to see about their availability, but it managed itself afterwards, and I felt like no, he's fine. No, nothing going on there other than that. I just felt like that inactivity and where we were with the competition standpoint, that didn't find a spot for him to pitch, but he's fine.